Most people think greatness starts with talent. It doesn't. It starts with a decision, a quiet one, a lonely one, a decision you make when nobody is watching. Kobe Bryant made that decision early, not to be liked, not to be comfortable, not even to be balanced. He decided that every single day, no matter how he felt, no matter what yesterday looked like, he would outwork the version of himself from the day before. And that decision changed everything. Life doesn't care about your potential. The league doesn't care about your excuses. The game doesn't care how tired you are. You either show up or you don't. Kobe understood something most people never fully accept. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. So he built habits that scared people. While other players were sleeping, Kobe was already sweating. Not because he was obsessed with being different, but because he was obsessed with being better. Better footwork, better conditioning, better focus, better discipline. He wasn't chasing motivation. He didn't wait to feel ready. He trained because it was scheduled. He trained because it was required. He trained because excellence doesn't negotiate. A lot of people talk about wanting to be great. Very few are willing to live the life that greatness demands. Kobe didn't complain about that gap. He lived in it. He understood that if you want a different result, you need a different routine. So he won the morning. Not once. Not sometimes. Every day. Because when you win the morning, you control the day. And when you control the day, you control your career. There's a moment every athlete knows. That moment when the alarm goes off and your body says no. Your legs are heavy. Your mind is tired. Yesterday already took something out of you. Most people listen to that voice. Kobe didn't. He treated that voice like an opponent. And every time he got up anyway, he won before the game even started. He wasn't special because he never felt lazy. He was special because he never obeyed laziness. He knew something simple but brutal. If you let comfort make your decisions, regret will make your future. So he chose discomfort on purpose. People love to talk about confidence, but confidence doesn't come from hype. It doesn't come from social media. It doesn't come from what other people say about you. Confidence comes from knowing you did the work. Kobe walked onto the court already undefeated, because he had already beaten himself that morning. And here's the part most people miss. He didn't train hard to impress anyone. He trained hard so that pressure wouldn't scare him. So that when the moment came, the shot, the clock, the noise, the expectations, it felt familiar. Because he had already been there, alone, in the gym, 1,000 times before. This is where the separation begins. Not in the spotlight, not in the highlights, not in the trophies, but in the unseen hours. The hours where nobody is clapping, nobody is recording, nobody is praising your effort. Just you and the standard you refuse to lower. Kobe called it a mindset, a way of approaching every rep, every drill, every detail. Not emotional, not dramatic, relentless. And once you adopt that mindset, there's no going back. Because now you know the truth. You're not tired. You're untrained. You're not unlucky. You're inconsistent. You're not behind. You just haven't paid the price yet. And Kobe was willing to pay it. Every single day. People love to romanticize greatness. They love the highlights. They love the championships. They love the image. But they don't love the price. Because the truth is, greatness is lonely. And Kobe Bryant accepted that early. While others were counting wins, Kobe was counting reps. While others were negotiating rest, Kobe was negotiating with pain. Not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he understood something most athletes avoid. If you're not willing to suffer in private, you'll suffer in public. So he chose private suffering. There were no shortcuts in Kobe's world. And no, I'll make it up tomorrow. No, I'm already good enough. No, everyone else is resting. Everyone else didn't matter. The standard mattered. Kobe didn't train until he felt confident. He trained until there was nothing left to doubt. That's a very different level of commitment. Because doubt disappears when preparation is ruthless. A lot of players want balance. Kobe wanted mastery. And mastery demands obsession. It demands saying no to things other people say yes to. It demands missing out. It demands being misunderstood. People called him intense, difficult, extreme. He took that as confirmation he was on the right path. Because if everyone understands your lifestyle, you're probably not pushing hard enough. Here's something uncomfortable most people don't want to hear. Talent doesn't separate you at the top. Tolerance for pain does. Kobe knew his body would hurt. He knew fatigue would come. He knew motivation would fade. So he built a system that didn't rely on motivation. He relied on discipline. Because discipline shows up even when inspiration doesn't. Pain was never a signal for him to stop. Pain was information. It told him where he was weak. It told him where he needed to improve. It told him where the work still wasn't done. Most people run from that signal. Kobe leaned into it. There's a moment in every athlete's career when excuses sound reasonable. You've already proven yourself. You've already worked hard. You've already sacrificed enough. That moment is dangerous, because that's where hunger dies. Kobe never let that moment live too long. He reset the standard constantly. Rings didn't buy rest. Awards didn't buy comfort. Legacy didn't buy shortcuts. Every season started at 0. He didn't measure himself against the league. He measured himself against what was possible. And that's a brutal comparison. Because potential doesn't care how tired you are. Criticism didn't slow him down. It sharpened him. Doubt didn't break him. It focused him. Pressure didn't crush him. It clarified him. Because when you've done the work, pressure isn't a threat. It's an opportunity to prove what you already know. This is why Kobe was dangerous in big moments. Not because he was fearless, but because fear had already been addressed in training. Fear had already lost. Most people want confidence before they act. Kobe acted until confidence had no choice but to follow. That's the difference. And this is where the real question starts to form. Are you training to feel good, or are you training to be great? Because those two paths don't lead to the same place. Kobe chose the harder path, every time. And over time, that choice compounded into dominance, into legacy, into a work ethic people still struggle to explain. At a certain point, nobody can motivate you anymore. The coaches have done their job. The trainers have done their job. The fans have done their job. Now it's just you. And this is where most people slow down. Because external pressure disappears, and all that's left is internal truth. Kobe didn't fear that moment. He trained for it. There's a level where encouragement becomes noise. A level where praise is dangerous. Where applause makes people comfortable. Where success becomes a sedative. So Kobe knew that. So he kept his distance. Not because he hated people, but because he respected his mission more. Greatness requires periods of isolation, not forever, but long enough to hear yourself clearly, long enough to ask the questions most people avoid. Am I really doing everything I can? Or am I just doing enough to survive? Am I pushing my limits or protecting my comfort? Kobe asked those questions constantly, and he didn't lie to himself. That honesty is rare, because it's painful. It's easier to blame circumstances, easier to blame teammates, easier to blame systems, coaches, politics, timing. Kobe blamed none of that. He took personal responsibility for everything. Missed shot? His fault. Bad game? His preparation? Loss? Something he didn't do well enough. That mindset is heavy, but it's powerful. Because if it's your fault, it's also your control. He didn't want to be managed. He wanted to be accountable. And accountability isn't loud. It's silent. It's uncomfortable. It's you in the gym when nobody asked you to be there. It's you watching film when everyone else is done for the day. It's you saying no, again, to things that don't move you forward. Sacrifice isn't dramatic. It's repetitive. It's missing dinners, missing sleep, missing moments people assume you'll always have later. Later isn't guaranteed. Kobe trained like he understood that. People often say, "I'd do anything to be great." But they don't mean that. They don't mean sacrificing normalcy. They don't mean being misunderstood. They don't mean being alone with your standards. Kobe meant it. There were days he didn't feel inspired. Days the fire wasn't loud. Days the work felt heavy. Those were the most important days. Because anyone can work when it feels good. But champions are built on the days when it doesn't. He didn't chase balance. He chased alignment. Alignment between who he said he was and what his actions proved. And every time those two didn't match, he corrected it. No excuses, no softness, just adjustment. That's why his confidence never looked fragile. Because it wasn't based on opinion. It was based on evidence. Evidence created by years of invisible work. And eventually, something changes. You stop needing validation. You stop explaining yourself. You stop looking around to see who's watching. The work becomes the reward. The process becomes home. That's when separation is complete. Not because you're better than others, but because you're no longer competing with them. You're competing with what you know you're capable of. And that's the hardest opponent you'll ever face. Eventually, the game slows down. Not because it gets easier, but because you've seen everything. The crowds still cheer. The lights still shine. But the motivation has to come from somewhere deeper now. This is where most legends fade. Kobe didn't. When younger players entered the league, they watched him closely. Not because he talked the most, not because he demanded respect, but because his habits never slipped. Same intensity, same preparation, same standard. Even when he had nothing left to prove. That's leadership. True leadership isn't motivational speeches, it's consistency. It's showing up the same way on a random Tuesday practice as you do in the finals. Kobe didn't lead by telling people what to do. He led by making excuses impossible around him. When you work at that level long enough, something changes. You stop chasing validation. You stop chasing numbers. You stop chasing approval. You start chasing impact. Kobe understood that legacy isn't what people say about you. Legacy is what you transfer. The mindset, the standards, the expectations. He wanted the next generation to understand something simple. Talent opens doors. But discipline decides how long you stay inside. That's why, later in his career, he became more intentional. Not softer, not slower, clearer. He studied the game differently. He taught differently. He prepared differently. Because leadership at the highest level isn't about dominance anymore. It's about direction. He showed younger players what professionalism actually looks like. how you treat your body, how you treat preparation, how you treat losses. He taught them that excuses sound smart, but they don't win games. And then there was the hardest transition of all, walking away. No schedule forcing him to train, no season waiting to start, no opponent circled on the calendar, just silence. This is where many athletes lose themselves. Kobe didn't, because the mindset was never about basketball. Basketball was just the classroom. The same discipline, the same obsession with detail, the same hunger to learn. He carried it into storytelling, into creativity, into teaching, into life. Because once you learn how to be great at something, you learn how to be great at anything. That's the part people miss. The Mamba mentality wasn't aggression, it was intention. Doing things on purpose, doing them fully, doing them without apology. Kobe's legacy isn't just banners and numbers, it's proof. Proof that standards matter, that consistency compounds, that discipline outlives talent. And maybe the most powerful lesson of all, nobody made him work like that. No one forced him. No one threatened him. No one demanded it. He chose it. Every day. Long after the applause faded, at some point this stops being about Kobe Bryant. It becomes about you. Because the truth is, you already know what you should be doing. You don't lack information. You lack consistency. You don't lack motivation. You lack standards. Kobe never waited for perfect conditions. He didn't wait to feel confident. He didn't wait to feel inspired. He didn't wait for life to slow down. He moved first, because he understood something most people avoid. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is filled with work you keep postponing. Everyone wants the results. Very few want the routine. Everyone wants the respect. But respect is rented, and the rent is due every single day. Kobe paid it, whether anyone noticed or not. He didn't ask, "What do I feel like doing today?" He asked, "What does the standard require?" And then he did that. Even when it was boring, even when it hurt, even when nobody was watching, especially then. That's the Mamba mentality. Not hype, not quotes, not intensity for show. It's discipline without applause. It's doing the small things so well, so often, that pressure becomes irrelevant. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. to be Kobe, but you do need your version of that commitment. Your version of winning the morning. Your version of staying late. Your version of saying no when it would be easier to say yes. Ask yourself this. Honestly, if someone followed you around all day, would they understand what you're trying to become? Or would they be confused? Kobe's life made sense because his actions were aligned with his goals. No contradiction, no double life, one standard. That's why his work ethic felt different. It wasn't louder, it wasn't flashier, it was unavoidable. You couldn't outwork someone who never negotiated with himself. And here's the uncomfortable part. You don't need more time. You don't need better genetics. You don't need permission. You need to raise your standard and stop breaking promises to yourself. Because once you do that, something shifts. Confidence stops being fragile. Discipline stops feeling forced. And progress becomes inevitable. Kobe Bryant's work ethic wasn't on another level because he was born different. It was on another level because he chose to live there, every day, without excuses, without shortcuts. And now the question is simple. What level are you choosing to live on?